Howdy. Good, how are you, sir? Are you the blacksmith?
Yes, sir.
I had the pleasure of meeting your son this morning.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he's a hell of a guy. He told me to come see you. Correct.
These two are reproductions of James Black's knives. The one that he made for Jim Bowie in 1831.
Wow.
The other one's called a Kerrigan knife, and it's his style, just a smaller knife made by him. The others are just frontier knives. Let's see, the bone handle, this one here, and this one here are made of files. Okay, and there's a little bitty Damascus knife blade.
The original Bowie knife is made here, right? This is the first place it was made, and I don't know as much as this gentleman right here, but he's going to kind of explain it to us. We're going to ask a couple questions. So,
James Black and Jim Bowie.
yes, sir.
Okay, it's two different stories actually. One is the life of James Black, and we won't really get into that, I guess. But the other one is Jim Bowie. And what made James Black famous was around 1831, Bowie came here and asked Black to make him a knife, okay? He had a template of a knife that he had cut out of wood, and he brought it to him, and he asked him if he could make a knife for him, like that. And he told him yes, he would, and they settled on a price. Now, James Black's knives range from $5 to $55. Okay, you could buy an acre of land for $1.50 back in those days. So, anyway, he asked him to make that knife, and they agreed. Well, he left. A couple of months later, he came back to retrieve the knife. Well, James Black had that knife made, but he also had, I'm going to use, this is a template, okay? This is not a knife, this is a template of Bowie number 1, all right?
Okay.
So he had this knife made also. So they go out on the front porch. He said you can have either one for the same money. They go out on the front porch and discuss which knife will serve you better. And Bowie wound up taking this knife over it. Is this a knife that went to the Alamo? Who knows? That was 5 years later. Could have been. I've got knives older than that. You know, so it may, nobody knows for sure. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you the reason he took this knife over the one that he had commissioned. First off, during that time period, you had flintlock guns, muzzle loaders, so you had one shot. So you need secondary defense of some kind. It could be a knife, it could be a tomahawk, it could be a stick, but you had to have something for the second animal that's jumping you, okay? This knife was made big enough to cut through cane brakes down to the river, cut kindling wood, small trees if you needed to. The original Bowie number 1 has definitely been used, you can tell. Okay, but the reason he took this knife is because during that time period, families that could afford it would send their sons or daughters to fencing lessons. You know what fencing is?
I do, I've done it.
Okay. So you don't have a blade typically, you have a point, right?
It's a foil, yeah.
Yeah, so this knife is designed because of this little rise. You don't see that on knives today. That little few degree rise, it's designed where you know where your point is. Okay? All right. If I'm holding this knife, if you and I are having some kind of disagreement, and I'm holding this knife like this, that point's sticking up, right? I'm stretched. That point's sticking up. So I don't know where the point is, all right? And if you and I are having our little disagreement, I need to know where the point of this knife is. So they held them like this. Look at that, straight as a string. That way I don't have to pay attention to where that point is. I know where it is the whole time. All right? Then you can block with the back of it. Of course, there's no guard for your hand, but that's the reason he took his knife. Over the one he had commissioned.
And it's been adapted many times over since?
Yes. Well, they're still calling the large clip point knife a Bowie knife even today, 200 years later. You know. So.
Where do I get one?
Walmart. So we're good. That's as big as it's going to be. We're not near through, but that's as big as it's going to be. I'm going to have to cool it off. You hear it laugh at me? Hear it laughing? Okay, I'm going to put veins in it. There's no way you could hold this for me, is there?
Sure.
And do the camera?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you first off, that's still very, very hot.
Don't touch it.
This is cool.
Okay.
I'm going to get you to hold it just like this, flat on the anvil. If it slips, just drop it on the floor. Don't grab it, okay? Okay, can you move it to here?
Same spot?
Yeah.
Same
I just cut off of it and I don't want to cut the base of my hand. Yeah, you're officially now a junior apprentice in James Black's shop in Washington, Arkansas.
Oh, it's a
I just
pleasure.
knighted you too, do you notice that?
Thank you, sir.
Actually, if it stays, if you don't watch it, you can burn it up. So, the veins that you and I put in here have to go down, all right?
Okay.
And I'll lay it over this here. And you know, we make spoons the same way, they're just not pointed. So what we're doing is putting some dimensions to it where it looks. Now, doesn't that look better than a flat?
Yes, sir. Like
Flat
the water comes off.
Yeah. Okay. Next thing I'm gonna do, you have to brush it with a brush. So I'm gonna use this one. It's a brass brush. And as I brush it, some of the brass adheres to it. Okay? We're gonna make a fall leaf out of it. So we'll turn it into that beautiful swan I was telling you about. Okay? So now this is what we have. Okay? And remember, we started with this. And now we have this. Okay, if you're going to leave this outside for any reason, you need to protect it from the weather, okay?
Okay.
You can clear coat it with paint, but I use this. This is beeswax. And to prove to you, that doesn't look hot at all.
No,
but
that's hot.
yeah, if I lay this here and walk away and you walk in, you always have to ask permission before you touch anything in a blacksmith shop. Because if you grab that, you're going to blister your hand. And I'm going to prove it to you right now with this beeswax. But what this does, it seals it where it won't rust. See? Okay, I'm gonna cool it off in water. Now, traditionally, if I was to cut this off, I'm going to cut it off. But if I was going to do it traditionally, I'm going to use a saw, by the way, 2022 model saw. But this is what, and I do this from time to time. It's a hot cut. You put that in and you reheat it. You bring it over here and you cut it with a hammer. Okay? If I do that, I've got to put the brass back on it, and I have to put the wax back on it, so I'm going to use a saw.
Okay.
You good with that?
I'm good with that, sir.
I will not cut myself, I promise.
Don't do that.
No. So, through just a little determination, we wound up with this little trinket. And because you are my junior apprentice, this is how I pay you.
Oh, you're the man, dude.
Yeah, it might be a little warm, but
Thank you, sir.
very well.
That is awesome. Hey guys, thanks again for watching. Shout out to Jerry. Thank you for your time that day. I still got my trinket right here. Real cool experience, and highly recommend everyone goes and checks out Historic Washington State Park in Arkansas. I got more content coming from there, but till then, see you guys on the next one.